If you want to invade the US, you're going to need a brain scan once you realize how much geography and firepower is stacked in America's favor. Let's start with the fact that two giant oceans act like massive moats. If you're a foreign army trying to land on the East Coast, you'll run into more warships than you can count, and the occasional Floridian who loves fighting alligators for fun. We all know the East Coast has enough naval and air power to turn your fleet into fancy fireworks or a boat show. If you try your luck on the West Coast, sure, there might be fewer defenses, but you're still crossing the entire freaking Pacific, and then you have to deal with Californians who think an iced mocha can fix anything. Good luck explaining your invasion strategy over that. And yeah, I know, the US isn't completely untouched. The British burned down the White House in the War of 1812, which was a pretty rude housewarming gift. Mexico had a few incursions in the 1800s, Pancho Villa raided New Mexico in 1916, and Japan took a chunk of Alaska's Aleutian Islands in World War II. But these attacks never really made it far, mainly because America's got so much land and so many people willing to shoot at strangers. These days, they also have jets, missiles that look like freaky toys, and drone swarms. Fun times for any would-be invader. Speaking of drones and guns, the US military is basically the world champion of "don't mess with me." Biggest defense budget on Earth, 1.3 million active soldiers, around 800,000 reservists, over 15 million veterans, a navy that can float half the planet's oceans in half an afternoon, even if all they're doing is filming TikToks on those fancy boats every day. Air power that can drop bombs with GPS precision, and it's not just the troops. Civilians with huge beards own enough firearms to arm a small galaxy. That might sound like a wild exaggeration, but it's not too far from the 500 million owned weapons we have out there. And we also have veterans, law enforcement officers, security guards, operators, you name it. An enemy force could land, sure, but controlling all that territory while grandma's got a shotgun and a no trespassing sign on her backyard is another story. If you still think a ground invasion is possible, maybe you're picturing some Game of Thrones siege, but modern warfare doesn't work like that. You need stupid amounts of amphibious capabilities, total air superiority, and a plan for every major city, plus mountains, forests, deserts, and everything else in between. Even an EMP or cyber attack would only slow the US response, not stop it. Then you factor in the National Guard wearing their helmets backwards, part-time reserves, and oh yeah, a bunch of random dudes with Dorf syndrome who'd show up in Ford trucks with rifles. Now, people love to bring up Russia or China as potential threats. Russia's busy showing off its big army in modern conflicts, while China may have a huge army of scrawny dudes without any battle experience. And let's not forget the US can respond with its own brand of chaos if someone tries to waltz in uninvited. Honestly, the biggest danger might be internal. Political bickering and the right or left loving each other. Abraham Lincoln basically said America wouldn't be destroyed from outside forces. He figured it'd go down because people started fighting each other, not because a foreign country decided to test the water. So, will we see a successful invasion of the US? Probably not. If the United States ever does collapse, it'll likely be because Americans couldn't stop arguing with themselves, not because someone pulled off a miraculous ocean-hopping blitzkrieg.